What's going on, people, and welcome to another episode of the Series X podcast. That is right, people. This is the podcast where we talk about nothing but Xbox, no console war BS, nothing like that in the show or in the chat. What is going on, chat? It is good to see you guys, and yes, we are live once again, man. I am really excited. I'm really happy to be live with this show one more time. And if you are tuning in for the first time, this show is between me and my brother from across the pond. Guys, I would love to introduce my partner in crime for this show, the elusive gamer, none other than Jamie Moran. Jamie, what is going on, brother?
It's all good, man. I've been looking forward to this show because, I've done with
and you'll see like the globe with a little like circle with a cross out saying like you have no internet. I looked and I just swallowed really hard like, yo, what's going on? And then it came right back. So, yo, Jamie, one more time, can you say what's up to the chat, brother?
Yeah, what's up, everyone? We're in a new year. We've got a lot of new games to look forward to, a lot of new, Xbox stuff. And hey, man, I've had a really good week after like a pretty crappy year. And yeah, let's just talk about some games.
Nice, brother. Guys, in the chat, if you haven't done it yet, you know what to do. This is the business side of YouTube right now. If you haven't done it yet and you know this is going to be entertaining, hit the thumbs up button for us. Share this out on social media, whether it's Facebook, Twitter, and anywhere where there are gamers out there that play on Xbox, because this is where they need to be on a Sunday night, hanging with me, hanging with the elusive gamer, all you guys in the chat, and talking about Xbox things, Xbox entertainment, Xbox news, all that good stuff. And guys, we have one hell of a show for you, and we're going to warm up a little bit. We're going to let people kind of gather in, all that good stuff. But for the people who aren't tuned in right now, you guys are going to miss out on something, because me and Jamie were talking behind the scenes. And it's funny because when we get together in the Google Meet that we use for, this show, I usually ask him like how he's doing, all that good stuff, games he's been playing. And he started going off about this game that he cannot put down. And I'm like, Jamie, you gotta, slow down, man. This is golden stuff right here. This is stuff that I know the chat would want to hear once we're live. So, Jamie, there has been a game that has set a fire underneath you as a gamer, to the point where you have ignored a game that you were looking forward to for like years, man. What's going on? What game has taken over your life recently, bro? And why, man? Let us know.
Well, I've been looking forward to Cyberpunk for years. And, when it comes to a game like that, I know for a fact that I need like 4, 5, 6 hours to like get into it. So I kind of put Cyberpunk on the back burner, wait until I have like a good 6-hour chunk free. So for Christmas, I got a few games, and one of those games being Immortals Phoenix Rising. Now, I've been looking forward to this game anyway. I knew I was getting for Christmas anyway, and I am completely in awe over this game. Like, this game is freaking spectacular. A lot of people online have said it's like Breath of the Wild. And you know what? It is. But that's not really a bad thing about the game. The game's amazing. It's ancient Greek mythology. The setting's beautiful. If you've seen Breath of the Wild gameplay, you're getting that here. But it does something a bit different. And this is something I don't like in games. It's when you have weapons that you enjoy or anything like that, and then they break over time. This game doesn't do that.
I was just wondering that, by the way, because when you said Breath of the Wild, like, we had it over here in this house for the Wii U, because that, it originally came out for the Wii U and the Switch. And one of the things I didn't like was the whole, weapons breaking over time. Because once you get used to a sword that you like or whatnot, you want to use that as much as possible. But go ahead, Jamie. So the weapons don't break in Immortals?
Yeah, there's no weapon breaking. Your armor doesn't get damaged. There's nothing like that.
Oh.
And that's something I really like, because like I like Dark Souls, but the problem about those games is that your armor degrades over time, your weapons degrade. Same with Fallout, your weapons degrade over time. This game doesn't have any of that. And this game has possibly one of the best leveling up systems for armor I've ever seen in a game. So in most games with like let's look at Assassin's Creed Odyssey. You get a sword you like, and then 5 hours later into the game, you get a better sword. It looks different and whatever, right? In this game, you can use the sword you get at the beginning of the game and continue throughout the entire game. You don't get items with different levels. You get one of each item, and basically you level up your ability of swords. So you can get your sword at the beginning of the game, and you level up your sword ability. You level up your axe ability and your bow ability, but you don't actually get higher level equipment, if that makes sense. So the weapons you get actually have different properties. So the armor I'm using right now, for every combo I get 15% health back. But if I pick a different armor, it might have something like get 30% stamina back per combo finisher. So you don't get better armor over time. You get different armor with different properties, and you just level up your overall,
And you leveled
stat
up
of the
those.
armor.
Okay, so it really kind of caters to the play style that you want to do. Then, like, you can get armor and stuff like that kind of enhance the perks that you want and that cater to how you play. Then.
Yeah. So, like for instance, the first sword you get in the game, you can use that throughout the entire game. I've just leveled up, the sword ability, and literally, you can keep the same weapon. And the sword you get at the beginning of the game is fantastic. The axe you get, fantastic. The bow, fantastic. And you just upgrade, the overall ability of, said item. And it's just good, man. And like the thing is, you mentioned crafting in a lot of games, and people roll the eyes. I
Yeah.
roll my eyes. Crafted in this game is so easy. Like, so if you want like health potions, you collect pomegranates and you make pomegranate potions. You don't have to collect a bunch of different stuff. If you want a strength potion, you collect figs. If you want, I think it's a stamina potion, you collect mushrooms. It's just very easy. Like everything in this game, be it crafting and leveling up, super easy.
Hmm.
And like Breath of the Wild, there's challenge tombs, or in this game they called vaults, vaults of Tartarus, and they're just big puzzle rooms. And some of these puzzle rooms have bosses, and there's the game separated into different regions. So you start out in this beautiful grassland area, and then the second area you go to is more like more ancient Greek mythology with like big buildings and stuff. And then there's like snow areas and a desert area, and it's overall it's just a fantastic game. And like again, this game is getting compared to Breath of the Wild because the developers of Assassin's Creed Odyssey obviously played Breath of the Wild and thought, I like this, I want that. And they've made Breath of the Wild / Assassin's Creed Odyssey. And it's just such a good game, man. Like, and you get wings at the beginning of the game, and you can glide from area to area. It's just good, man. Like, it's really good. And this is the thing, right? The Ubisoft doesn't really invest a lot in new IP. And over the past few years, they've launched, including Immortals Phoenix Rising, I'd say 2 significant new IPs, one of which failed. And that was the Toys to Life game. And I forgot its name already. It's called Star Arc or something. It was basically a starfighter game where you collected different toys to add weapons to your in-game spaceship. The game was a failure because they made it so you had to buy like literally hundreds of pounds worth of toys to get every weapon in the game. It was just weird. And the game itself was good, but this Immortals Phoenix Rising, it's a really good new IP. And I think people that want a Zelda style game on Xbox or on other platforms get this. It's cheap right now. I think it's like 40% off on the Xbox store, something like that. It's already 50% off on Amazon in the UK. It's just a good game. I want this to do well. And the thing is, people are going to put a lot of hours into this game, and the season pass already looks good. So the first expansion comes out, I think it's next month, and that is a post main story game with a new area. And then expansion 2 is ancient Chinese mythology in a new area with a new protagonist. Basically, Immortals Phoenix Rising 2, just it's an expansion, and it's ancient
Sounds
mythology.
like a new game, man.
Yeah. And then the third expansion is going back to the ancient Greece setting, but it's going to be an isometric RPG now. and you can imagine what that's going to be like. But it looks cool, and that's with a new protagonist. And I can't say enough good things about this game. Like, I put it like this: I've been looking forward to Cyberpunk for 8 years, and I can't put Immortals Phoenix Rising down.
Dude, that is absolutely amazing. Like when you're looking forward to a game and you're getting getting hyped and the game comes out, seeing another game kind of take you away from that game. Not saying like the one you were waiting for, like Cyberpunk, like it's bad or anything like that, but just when you get surprised that way, man, that is a real good time to be a gamer. You know what I'm saying? That's one of those situations that you love to fall into because like this is the way I look at it. You're gonna have fun with Cyberpunk when you do get into it, but now you have all this extra added kind of like entertainment, immersion, and stuff like that with a game that you didn't even expect to kind of like ring your bell the way it did, right, Jamie?
Yeah, and here's the thing, like, and I think a lot of people like listening may have been in the same spot as me this year. We've all been stuck in the house, and we've all been like looking for new stuff to play, and we didn't really get a lot of new games till later on in 2020. And sometimes you can get burnt out in video games. So, like, with Cyberpunk, I knew I'm waiting until I have more time. But Immortals Phoenix Rising just feels like the perfect game to play right now because it's legitimately fun. It's not pretentious in any way. The game's actually funny. It's really funny. The game has adult centric humor, even though it's like got a it looks like Breath of the Wild, but it's got like it's 4K and it has adult humor. A lot of the jokes they make are definitely adult orientated.
Jesse, real quick, the game on here is that you're seeing is Cameo, Elements of Power. I just wanted to let her know because I know she would get in on this game, man.
It's just if people want, like, literally, it's just again a breath of fresh air. It's a Zelda style game. It's on Xbox. It literally the gameplay is just pure fun. It offers a challenge when it needs to. It's not too difficult, and even like there's puzzles scattered throughout like the land, and it's not hard. Like it's inherently just a fun game to play. And if people think this is going to be a Ubisoft game where you climb to a tower, you search places, and you clear a map, it's not like that. It's really not. And like even GameSpot did a video about a month and a half ago or something comparing Breath of the Wild to Immortals Phoenix Rising. It's the same game. It's the same game. But that is not a bad thing. Like literally, Breath of the Wild, one of the highest rated games of all time. And then Immortals Phoenix Rising comes out, and it's the same game, just with Greek mythology, but it's done so well. Like, I thought, like, when you play games for so long and you think, okay, I'm not going to see any new enemies, and you think you've figured out the game's loop. Well, the game just, threw, like, a bunch of new different enemies at me, like, last night, and I was like, okay, like, I was fighting a Hydra last night. A bloody Hydra. It was awesome. Like, but it's, again, like, it's just good. Like, I recommend more people pick this up because we don't get a lot of games like this. And frankly, I want this game to be a really successful IP because they could take this into all sorts of different mythologies. They could take this to ancient Egypt. They can go Vikings with it. They can go pretty much anywhere. Like, I'm looking on the store right now, and the game is $67.99 for the gold edition, that's pounds with the expansion pass, and it's $35.99. It's currently 40% off on the Xbox store. Like, I'd say it's a must-own game, and like I've said many times before, there's only been 3 10 out of 10 games in my opinion. This game's going to be pretty close.
Really? Oh wow.
Yeah.
Well, dude,
like,
you know me. I believe like there inadvertently there's no 10 out of 10 game, but for you to praise it that high, that's insane. And the funny thing about this is, and I didn't think about this until you really started talking about this, but this actually is a segue into another topic that we have as well. So I kind of want to use that real quick because you're talking about this game. It's a Ubisoft game. And just this past week, we've been getting rumors about, Ubisoft's subscription service, Ubisoft Plus, possibly getting rolled into Game Pass. Now, for people who don't know, Ubisoft Plus is a $15 a month subscription service for Ubisoft games. And they have, I believe their newer games go in to Ubisoft Plus as well. And I saw this on Twitter, and the rumor is just like catching traction. Like more and more people are talking about it. More and more people are, putting in their 2 cents on whether or not it's possible, whether or not it's going to be done, stuff like that. So, Jamie, you're talking about people supporting this game or whatnot, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm in a transition period when it comes to finances and everything. So I don't know what I can spend. I don't know what I can't spend, stuff like that. So like I'm kind of doing my best to hold on money and try to see what the bills turn out to be month over month, all that good stuff. But if Ubisoft Plus gets rolled into Game Pass, there's a possibility I could play it through that, which would be very interesting. And we all know, these development studios and these publishers, they are looking at active users as much as kind of like selling copies of the game. So, Jamie, I gotta ask you, man, what do you think about the rumors with Ubisoft Plus as well? Since we're talking about Immortals here, what do you think that this is a possibility? Do you think that there is truth behind this? Do you think that Ubisoft Plus might possibly, in the near future, get rolled into Game Pass, bro?
Well, I think people can figure out which way I'm going with this by the first thing I'm going to say. People, really go out and buy Immortals Phoenix Rising right now.
Okay.
Yeah, I love Game Pass, right? Like when Game Pass first came out, I never used to subscribe because I had almost everything in there. So for me, there wasn't any value. Granted, I still thought I had a lot to offer, but now I consider Game Pass as a must subscribe service. Like I can't see myself letting go of Game Pass, and I think they offer values, the amount of different games you get monthly, and there's still so many games coming to Game Pass that we already know about that look awesome. With that being said, when this whole Ubisoft thing came out, I laughed because I don't think it's happening. And, if people like been following me for a while, whenever I see a rumor for something, I try and find the origin of said rumor. And sometimes I'll look online.
Practice, by the way, because I have no idea where this started, bro.
Yeah. So I did some research. And again, I laughed because I was thinking, where did this come from? So I went back and I was looking on. The thing is, as much as I make fun of Reset Era, that place is kind of it's one of the places where a lot of these things start. And if rumors kick up on there, it's either extremely false or extremely real. If it's from 4chan, it's either extremely real or extremely false. The only thing I could trace this back to was some people on Twitter saying how cool would it be for Ubisoft Plus to come to Game Pass. Because think about it, right? What is the other big service that could possibly come to Game Pass that we don't already have? EA Access made sense because EA doesn't come out with a lot of games yearly. They come out with their sports games and a Battlefield game every other year, and then that's it. Like, think about what EA came out with in 2020. They came out with Need for Speed Remastered. It's not in the service yet. They came out with some sports games, and that's it. That's it. Like, the EA doesn't come out with a lot of products. Like, I can imagine their subscriber numbers were way down because they don't offer a lot. Their live service games don't do well. Anthem, well, they are making Anthem 2.0 now, and we still don't know what's going on there. People subscribe to EA Access or EA whatever it's called now. It's because of their back catalogue. People might want to go and play the Dead Space games or the Mass Effect games or Mirror's Edge Catalyst or the random Battlefield game. But EA Play doesn't offer a lot of value for subscribers that own games because chances are they own everything in there. So I look at Ubisoft Plus and I'm thinking, well, that's a good service. Ubisoft make multiple big games per year. Ubisoft is one of the big publishers each year that come out with big open world games, big new games. So when they put those into the service on PC, that makes sense, but it doesn't make any viable sense for this service to come into Game Pass because Ubisoft games sell well. Even if Immortals Phoenix Rising doesn't sell well, that doesn't mean Ubisoft doesn't want to continue to push it because they will push it. So I don't see this being real because I could trace this rumor back to random people on Twitter saying how cool would it be if Ubisoft Plus came to Game Pass.
Here's the thing, and we all prefer to play on Xbox. That's pretty much what this show is. Anybody in the chat who doesn't prefer to play on Xbox, I really don't know why you're here right now, to be really honest with you. But I will say thank you for tuning in, though. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna look a gift horse in the mouth with that. But I know people want bigger and better when it comes to Game Pass. And Game Pass to me is already absolutely incredible. The $15 a month for Ultimate Game Pass is a part of my bill structure. Like how I said, Jamie, how I said I'm in the middle of trying to figure out, how much I can spend, stuff like that. For me, Ultimate Game Pass is as important as like the electric bill. You see what I'm saying? Like so many games. You got EA Play. You got all the games that they put into Game Pass. You got, first party day and date and all that stuff. And then I hear Ubisoft Plus and I start looking into it and I'm like, the first thing that's a red flag to me. Now, Jamie, let me know how you feel about this. The first thing that it is a red flag to me that isn't getting me out there being like, Ubisoft Plus is definitely coming to Game Pass and all this good stuff is the fact that Ubisoft Plus is the same price per month as Ultimate Game Pass. So to me, that would tell me if you're putting in something that is supposed to be of quote unquote equal value, coming from the people who created it, coming from Ubisoft, then that tells me if it is rolling into Game Pass, that Game Pass would be, possibly getting more expensive. Do you see what I'm saying, Jamie? Like that's what my mindset would be on that. What do you think? Do you think that's also a red flag? The fact that it's the same price as Ultimate Game Pass when it stands on its own.
Yeah, this is the thing. Like, I get people getting caught up in the hype. Like, look, if you look at my Twitter, it's all Xbox. That's all I talk about, right? So, like, would it be cool for the service to join Game Pass? Absolutely, but I want people to be realistic for a second. Like when I see a rumor kicking off, I look at it. Does it make sense? Does it financially make sense? Where did the rumor start? And none of these things make sense. Because think about it, Phil Spencer said in the past saying he doesn't see the price of Game Pass going up anytime soon. That's check one. So it doesn't look realistic. Ubisoft Plus on PC costs £15 a month, or the equivalent of Game Pass Ultimate or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's like it doesn't make sense financially, because think about it, despite how much money Microsoft is throwing at Game Pass, they still want people to subscribe and for them to make money. That's how we're going to get new content. And the thing is, Microsoft's already experimenting with putting more content in Game Pass Ultimate, and we got that with Gears 5 Hivebusters. So they're experimenting with expansion packs in Game Pass Ultimate. So that's another thing. I don't see Ubisoft Plus coming to Game Pass being a thing, because again, I went back to see where did the rumor started, and then as soon as the thing is, we all follow people on Twitter who post rumors, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. I do it, everyone else does it. When I see people posting Ubisoft Plus coming to Game Pass ? And then someone else 10 minutes later will copy the same article or the same image and post Ubisoft Plus coming to Game Pass, and they'll post the eyes emoji. Do you see what I mean? It all snowballs, and then that gets more people thinking, well, you know what? Ubisoft Plus is coming to Game Pass, and that's what people think. And this is the thing. I knew this would happen. And this is where people go, I'm not going to buy Immortals Phoenix Rising because of Ubisoft Plus coming to Game Pass, despite the fact that there's no actual evidence of Ubisoft Plus coming to Game Pass. Think about Ubisoft's back catalogue of games. This ain't a year. They have like 56,000 Assassin's Creed games in their back catalogue. They have all the Ghost Recon games. They have Rainbow Six, which is doing well. They have the past Rainbow Six games. They have Splinter Cell games, a back catalogue of Splinter Cell games. They have the random new IPs they've got. They've got the Rayman games. It doesn't make sense. As much as I think, would it be cool? Yeah.
Oh, it would. It would be so cool that it's almost it's hard to fathom in that regard. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and the thing is, if people have been following me for more than 5 minutes, you notice I play a ton of Ubisoft games. Because Ubisoft make the games I play most of the year, right? So if Ubisoft made a console, do you know what I'd be like? I'd be like, because I love Ubisoft games.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, it doesn't make sense. And again, I don't want people to get hyped up over a rumor. And again, I've seen it today. Ubisoft Plus coming to Game Pass, 2 eye emojis.
Two eye
Like,
emoji. Oh no,
yeah,
that's
that's
two
like,
sets of eyes right there, bro.
yeah. Or the obvious one, Ubisoft Plus coming to Game Pass, smiley face. We know what people are doing. I do that. Everyone does that. It doesn't make sense. Would it be cool? Yes. But if you look at the numbers, it just makes no sense. Like, look at Game Pass right now and look at how many Ubisoft games are in there. Not many. Not
No.
many, because Ubisoft games sell year round.
Well, some people would actually say that's more of a clue that it might happen. But I do want to say, yo, first off, shout out to Lady AF who stopped into the chat. She said stopping by to say hi and drop a like. She said then back into Immortals. Yo, Lady, if you want a second screen experience to Immortals Phoenix Rising, just to let you know, this show is the perfect second screen experience. So you can actually play the game and have this show on your phone or tablet or other screen, and it works out beautiful. Trust me, I know. It's a crazy thing. Yo, shout out to Shizno Elite. He said, I think if Ubisoft Plus came to Game Pass, it would have to raise the price by $5 or $10. Yo, Shizno, absolutely love your common sense on that. That's exactly the mindset that I have. Yeah. Mog said, did I know that my real name is showing on Xbox? Actually, I did. I don't think it's a big problem. I don't have a lot of haters out there, but Moggs, if you want me to hide it, let me know and I will, bro. Yo, Crispy Bomb. Yo, Jamie, Crispy Bomb, the man with Mjolnir, the man with Thor's hammer is in the chat, brother. Yo, what is going on, Crispy? Great to see you guys. Guys, just to let you know, if you do want to support the show, you do want to support the channel, the super chat is open. So if you have something that absolutely needs to be said live on the air and you want to make sure, that is a great way to do it. If you have a question for me or Jamie, or you just want something shouted out or something like that, you can definitely hit up the super chat to do that as well. Jamie, again, me being, on Xbox so much and me loving Game Pass, I would love to have Ubisoft Plus rolled into Game Pass. But the price point and everything like that is what is getting me to not go all in and say, guys, like this is a very viable thing. I think people need to pump the brakes a little bit more. What you agree on that, bro?
Yeah, I mean, look, so okay, I'm going a bit off on a tyrant here, but when Yakuza games were announced for Xbox, right? People got excited because I've been wanting to play them for years, and they finally came to Xbox. So we got Yakuza 0, 1 and 2, and then we got Like a Dragon announced. And by the way, I've played Like a Dragon for several hours. Bloody fantastic. If you're new to JRPGs, it's another good jumping in point, and the characters are amazing, and the game's in English. Really well.
That's a big point for you, man. You said that like 3 times today, 2 times off the air. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, think about it like this: like the long games, and you're going to be spending 60, 70 hours reading. So with the new game being in English, and they went even further, they put English lip sync in as well, which most developers wouldn't do.
Wow.
And again, you have George Takei in the game. Like, the game is fantastic. But again, the other games were in Japanese, and that was a big barrier for a lot of people. But this new game's English. But guess what? The new game isn't in Game Pass. Do you know what is coming to Game Pass though? Yakuza 3, 4, 5, and 6. So we're getting the older games. They're using Game Pass, and Square Enix is using Game Pass to generate more interest in the Yakuza franchise. And again, Yakuza's only next-gen version is on Xbox right now because of a marketing deal or whatever. But it's like they want engagement in Yakuza to gain a fan base. And now all I see on Twitter a lot of the time is a big new fan base of Yakuza on Xbox. Same with, if you look at, Kingdom Hearts. They put Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2. They put Kingdom Hearts 3 in. That was a weird game because they didn't get 1 and 2 first. But they try to generate a fan base because the new spin-off for Kingdom Hearts, the Melody game, wasn't in Game Pass. Same with Final Fantasy. The new Final Fantasy a few years from now will not be in Game Pass, but we still have a back catalogue in Game Pass because they're generating fans. I've just gone through Game Pass right now, and there's one Ubisoft game, I think, in Game Pass, and that is Rainbow Six Siege, and that is a live service game which requires a lot of people to be playing at the same time. They make a hell of a lot of money off skins in that game, and that is the only game in there. It doesn't make any sense for Microsoft and Ubisoft to put, Ubisoft Plus in Game Pass. Again, we can all post rumors with eye emojis and generate likes, but at the end of the day, I don't want people to get the hopes up. Like, how many people have been excited for a Silent Hill announcement in the past 6 months? A lot. How many people have been excited for, I don't know, Banjo-Kazooie coming back? Because we thought they were coming back due to quote-unquote rumors with eye emojis. Tons of times.
Dude, you got something against eye emojis now, bro.
No, but because the thing is, I've been on social media for such a long time now. I know what people do because I'm one of those people. And it's like, I see through what people are doing, and that's how social media works. You do certain things to generate attention. It doesn't make any sense for Ubisoft to join Game Pass unless the price goes up. And if that's the case, does that mean EA would want a bigger cut because Ubisoft's getting a bigger cut? You see what I mean? Like, it doesn't make any sense. And the thing is, I love Ubisoft games. Again, I've said I play most of their games year round. I love their back catalogue. Assassin's Creed, Splinter Cell, all the Rainbow Six games. So, like, I clearly have no problem with the games joining Game Pass if they did. I'm just saying I don't see it being realistic.
I think you're just trying to be realistic. Yo, real quick, shout out to my brother RG Viper X hitting up that super chat. Brother, you did not have to do that. You have done so much for me and the channel already. Yo, guys, RG Viper, man, he is such an awesome dude. Yo, playing Tetris with him, dude, I was in a party with him just pretty much almost all day yesterday, just talking about things, life, stuff like that. Really cool guy, really cool gamer. He says, just showing some love, man. Yo, shout out to you, brother. We are showing love straight back at you, man. Yeah, again, I would just say, pump the brakes on thinking that this is absolutely a thing right now. Like, I would lean towards it not necessarily being a thing. When it comes to Jamie, I think you guys can trust him, man. He does his homework on things. If you follow him on Twitter, you will know exactly what I'm talking about. Yes, he likes to poke the bear a little bit, crack a couple jokes here and there. But when it comes down to, gaming news, his channel, The Elusive Gamer, Xbox news, stuff like that, you definitely want to subscribe to that because he does his homework, he does his research, kind of like what I do in terms of hardware features and what they mean and APIs and kind of like the groundwork or the tool sets that developers are using for Xbox. Yo, this dude does his homework, and I would definitely trust his word. But Jamie, let's get into another rumor, all right? And this one's interesting because we all know Xbox, even with what they did with Bethesda and ZeniMax, buying up, getting in the process of buying up ZeniMax, which is not complete yet. Phil Spencer said it's going to be complete in 2021. But a rumor has come out, and it's a rumor that keeps on lingering. And shout out to Brad Sams because he did a video. And in his video, he's stating that from what he's hearing behind the scenes, there's more fact to this rumor than people realize. And the rumor is the studio Asobo, the studio that makes Flight Simulator, apparently Microsoft and Xbox are interested in acquiring them and bringing them into their first party, studios. Now, Jamie, now I know, they did an incredible job with Flight Simulator and what that's doing with using the cloud and having like accurate weather if you have it on and stuff like that. It absolutely incredible. Graphics look insane. And for people who don't know, little known fact here, Flight Simulator is actually older than the Windows operating system. like it came out before the Windows operating system did, which is a little known fact out there, I believe. And I thought that was really interesting when I found that out from Brad Sam's video, of course. But Jamie, what do you think about this? Do you think that this studio has enough merit, has enough, kind of like has enough years under their belt, has enough projects that have come out to really be considered for first party? What do you think about the rumor that Asobo could possibly be acquired? Would that be a studio that you would go for if you were Phil Spencer, bro?
Oh yeah. Here's the thing. I've been talking on Twitter about Asobo for ages now because they make so much sense. Like you look at A Plague Tale. A Plague Tale is a phenomenal game, right? It's a linear third-person action adventure game set in plague-ridden France in like the 15th century, right? Amazing game. And even off that game alone, I'd say, yeah. I mean, they're making A Plague Tale 2 right now, and they're still working on Flight Sim. It makes sense. And this is the thing. Flight Simulator is a 90+ rated Metacritic game. It's heralded as the...
Meta who? You can't talk those numbers to me, brother. You can't do it. I'm sorry. Yeah. My bad. I had to, man.
Hey, I'm one of the few people out here that have a critic review for a game on Metacritic, and I still think Metacritic is BS.
He's flexing right now, people. He's flexing that muscle real quick.
Yeah, I'm flexing my one review for Toby, the Secret Mine. But it's like I don't really see any other studio. I see a few studios Microsoft would go for, and this has been one of them. It makes sense. Like, again, people say that this new Flight Simulator is the best Flight Simulator game ever made. So, yeah, it makes sense. And the thing is, apparently they want to work with Asobo on a new open world game. It makes so much sense. Now, the only thing that makes me think, maybe not yet, is because Asobo have a deal with Focus Home Interactive to make a multi-platform game. Now, they could still make that, and that might actually be, a Plague Tale 2.
I was saying, Microsoft has acquired studios that were making multi-plat games, and they were fine with them, finishing those projects first.
Yeah, this is the thing. That could still totally happen. Again, I still think that multi-platform game is a Plague Tale 2. I think Microsoft should do it. It makes sense. It's a French developer. The thing is, Microsoft is probably going to look at more European developers. It makes sense. There's a lot of talent over in Europe. And yeah, it just makes more sense, man. And like, look at the Microsoft needs PC-centric games, right? Well, Flight Simulator is that, and they're going to grow Flight Simulator for years. Like they're still making, more detailed areas for games, so it makes sense. And Asobo are hard at work making the console version right now. So yeah, it makes sense. I hope they pick them up. They're an extremely good developer. Like if anyone here hasn't played A Plague Tale, go play it. Phenomenal game. Some of the best writing and music I've heard in a game ever. And again, it's a linear game. It's disgusting. It's like plague-ridden France. It was just a very unnerving game to go through. And if their range can go from that to Flight Simulator, hell yeah. And this is the thing, whenever I've mentioned Asobo in the past, you know what the fanboys do? They go back into the back catalogue of that developer and say, but they made this movie tie-in game. They made this game. A lot of developers have made games like that. But it's when they make good games, people like to point out the bad ones. Like, a lot of European developers have made film tie-in games in the past. Absolute shocker. It happens. It happens a lot over here. And this is the thing. It's still an extremely good pickup for Microsoft. There's a few developers I think Microsoft should go for, and I'd say this is probably one of the top 3.
Jamie, the funny thing is, you said that Asobo, they're French, right?
Yeah.
Okay. See, and that right there, because I watched Phil Spencer's end of the year interview with Major Nelson, and one of the things that Phil said, one of the things he's proud of, is the fact that as they're building their first party, as they're acquiring studios, he wants studios everywhere, like a broad spectrum in terms of locations. And I don't think they have one that's based in France. So that would make sense right there as well. You look at them working with Flight Simulator. You see Plague Tale in Game Pass, stuff like that. There's obviously a working relationship here. Um, I really like, me personally, I like how Xbox has gone about building their first party. And I'm gonna let you chime in on this, Jamie, but I just want to fill this out real quick. You look at Asobo, right? And they've come out with a couple games, and especially Plague Tale, and then Flight Simulator. They're really kind of like flexing their muscle there, and they're growing in terms of a studio. So you have an up and coming studio that they're thinking about acquiring, but then you have like Double Fine, which is an established studio that's established with making kind of like smaller, quirky, fun games, stuff like that. And that is the acquisition. You look at Ninja Theory, which is another seasoned studio that's been around since the OG Xbox, and they're masterful at melee combat. Then you look at ZeniMax with Bethesda, and all their RPG elements there. Then you look at with ZeniMax also id Software in terms of first person shooters. See, do you see where I'm going with, Jamie? Like, they're grabbing such a variety of studios, and Asobo, like, I think it just fits that mold where you got up and coming studios. You have a studio that's built from the ground up under the Xbox first party flag. You have seasoned studios like Double Fine. You have Melee Masters in Ninja Theory. You have FPS Masters with id. Do you see what what do you think, man? Like, I think they are doing a great job of really kind of like opening up their portfolio and having developers and studios there that cater to just about every genre of game out there right now, man.
I love the fact that Microsoft goes for studios that make a wide variety of games, because the thing is, Microsoft could look at something they do really popular, right, and then go for a bunch of developers that make similar games and just pump out the same type of game. Because think about it, like, Microsoft is known as the shooter box, right?
Yes.
But we only get Gears and Halo. That's it. Literally, that's it. So they have like multiple developers making racing games. They have multiple developers now making action adventure games. They have multiple developers making RPGs, platformers, and all sorts. So yeah, it makes sense. And this is the thing, like, I like the fact that Microsoft are leaning into different genres now, because like Asobo, Flight Simulator, a Plague Tale. One is, well, a flight simulator. One is a third-person action-adventure game. But do you know what else they've worked on in the past? Fuel from 2009. It is one of the biggest open-world games of all time. And to this day, it still looks really good. Like, this open-world racer, there's, like, deserts and snow areas and stuff. It's I think it's like 200,000 square kilometers or something. It's something ridiculously stupid. It's, like, one of the biggest open worlds ever created. Like, they clearly have range. And if they can have a studio like this that can make a wide variety of different games, hey, man, perfect pickup. And that's the thing. What if in the future they want to make another racing game and Microsoft can have a third pillar racer? Well, they could with this team.
That is true. That is true. And again, like, not a lot of people talk about this, but with the studios that they have acquired, there's a lot of flexibility there. And again, I know the main reason for these acquisitions is to really kind of, how do you say, power or propel Game Pass. That is the main thing. Like, I don't think anybody can really dispute that. We've seen how Game Pass has grown from its beginnings and how it's kind of blown up in the gaming community, and how even people who don't necessarily like Xbox have to talk about the value and when it comes to Game Pass, and they really can't knock that whole thing. So, like, you see them really going all in on Game Pass, and I love the fact that when it comes to the studios, they're acquiring studios that give them a lot of flexibility, broaden their range in terms of the types of games that they can develop under the first party. I just think they're doing a really good job now, and now, Jamie, all we have to do is start seeing those games, start coming out from them. You know, I'm not going to ignore that fact. You know, that we definitely need to start seeing, you know, first party actually start rolling out. I remember what Matt Booty said. He was like 3 to 4 exclusives per year. And, you know, Jamie, that sounded crazy when he first said that. That sounded absolutely insane. Like, how are you going to have the studios that you have and still put out 3 to 4, you know, exclusives per year, and, you know, not have any gaps in between? But now when you see the acquisitions and what they're going after and how they're still shopping, I think, Jamie, it makes more sense now what Matt Booty said in terms of how many exclusives per year once this whole thing gets rolling, right?
Yeah, I mean, 20 plus studios. A lot of those studios consisting of multiple teams making multiple different projects. Hell, Obsidian are rumored to be making 6 games. So yeah, this is the thing. Like, people compare it to Netflix a lot because that's the closest comparison we can think of. But if you look at Netflix, right? Excuse me. If you look at Netflix, they used to make like 100 films a year or something, but they were all terribly reviewed, and I'd say not even worth watching. But now Netflix make less movies and they're more enjoyable to watch. Like Outlaw King with Chris Pine, fantastic film. You know, they make less films but higher quality now, and they still make the bit of a stinker, but most of their films now, or say a lot of their films now, I'd say worth watching. And
hold on, real quick, my bad, sir. Christopher Hart, how are you out here trying to hang Gears 5 when you've never played it, bro? Yeah, like, you've never played it. Like, there's so many games that you make fun of and stuff that you have never played. You know, when it came down to it, and I let people know about you know, a certain web swinging game, I played it. And I let people know how I felt about it. But, bro, you haven't even played Gears 5. And I can almost guarantee, Chris, you would like the game if you ever just went in and played the game. So I'm just saying, my bad, Jamie. I had to let my moderator know something, man. That's all.
Yeah, no, I've got a few words for Christopher Hart. Okay, so I'll say this. Microsoft could have went out and charged full price for DLC, but they didn't. Hell, they even let people download it for free if they already have Xbox Game Pass Ultimate. Now, I don't spend my evenings trolling PlayStation podcasts. And I said the P word, but who cares?
Dude.
Because 1, they're boring. 2, they're extremely boring. And 3, they say the same 3 words over and over and again. Banger, trash, and whatever, right? I don't listen to them. I don't waste my time. And to troll in comments, especially just after New Year, 2021, we've all came back from a pretty crappy shite year, right? Do you really want to start off the year doing this?
Yes, he does. Yes, he
because
does.
It looks pretty sad, to be honest. Anyway, back to the wide range of studios. Microsoft should lean into... The thing is, Microsoft wants multiple different games per year, per quarter, coming in Game Pass, be it an RPG one week and, I don't know, maybe a platformer the next. They need range. So while I love the fact that Microsoft has many different RPGs in development, I don't want them to come out with an RPG every month.
Dude, that is a concern of mine. But then I also look at it, you know, with 343... And, you know, when Halo Infinite drops and their kind of like continued support for the multiplayer and kind of like what they're going to do with the campaign, you know, id Software in terms of Doom and kind of like their first-person shooter practices. We have Turn 10, which is pretty much the epitome of race car driving video games. Like, dude, I do hear what you're saying, and I do have a little bit of a concern, but if you look across the board, man, there's just so much variety in the studios that they have and possibly are getting in the future as well.
Yeah, I mean, look, I want Microsoft to continue to get developers that make RPGs. And the truth is that I want them to make even more RPGs than we know already. But the thing is, Microsoft has so many studios making different types of the games that we're not going to have a year filled with just RPGs. As much as I would love that, we're not going to get that. But like, I like the fact that, hey, cool, one month we're going to be getting this RPG. The next month we're going to be getting a Wolfenstein 3. Or what's this, a month later? a Banjo-Kazooie remake. I'm just throwing it out there. But you see my point. They're very three different, very widely different games. And they have the studios to do that. So if they pick up a Zobo could work on multiple games. Again, Plague Tale 2, they could probably work a deal with Focus Home and get that, launch in Game Pass. And then they could make maybe an arcade racer with another team. They have so many different possibilities with all these different teams now that it's exciting. Because think about it. Where were we 7 years ago? Microsoft had Turn 10, 343, and, the Fable team.
Let's say Lionhead.
Yeah, Lionhead. And then Rare. That's it. That's all they had. And it just goes to show how much they've grown. So it makes sense that they're trying to grow still. It makes sense because, again, they want, like, look at Disney Plus. They're coming out with 10 new Star Wars shows for Disney Plus. And they're all going to be very different. Like, if they're all the same, people will be like, oh, I'm getting bored of this. But it's not going to be like that.
Yeah. I just it astonishes me, man. Looking into the future, which we're going to get into our predictions for this year when it comes to Xbox. I'm gonna take a look at our topics here and see where we're going next. Because like I said, we had a bunch of stuff to talk about right here, and I am just my phone doesn't want to work with me right now. Shout out to Samsung and the A11. When it comes down to it, all right. We're getting into, it's the beginning of the year, and there are plenty of rumors swirling around. So we dealt with the Asobo thing in terms of the rumor. We're down for it. Series X Podcast is down for it. Go ahead, Xbox. You have our approval on that. But when it comes to other rumors, one of the big ones is about a Forza coming out this year. And I've gone on record, right? And I've stated that I think Forza Motorsport is actually going to come out this year. And the reason why I say that is because I follow Forza. I follow Turn 10. I follow, Forza Horizon as well, Playground, all that good stuff. And I know that developers from Turn 10 have been able to play Forza Motorsport at their homes since the beginning of last year, since the beginning of 2020. And one of the developers came out on a Forza Horizon live stream and basically stated this fact. And he was talking about added simulation type features in terms of tire pressure, tire heating up, atmospheric density, humidity in the air affecting the aerodynamics on your car, stuff like that. Stuff that really got me excited. So I was actually really surprised that, with the Series X launching at the end of 2020, I was really surprised that Forza Motorsport wasn't a launch title, because to me it sounded like it was a no-brainer and it was that far along in development. But, Jamie, a lot of people are saying that Forza Motorsport is actually going to get skipped this year, and Forza Horizon 5 is actually the Forza that will be coming out this year. And a lot of people, again, are speculating Japan. One more time, Jamie, like just like Forza Horizon 4, people are speculating Japan. So I got to ask you, brother, dude, do you think a Forza is coming out this year? And if so, are you leaning more towards motorsport after hearing what your brother, Xbot448, just said about the playability of Forza Motorsport when it came to the devs? Are you going to go Forza Motorsport, or are you going to swing and kind of go with the group out there saying that Horizon 5 will be the one, if any, that releases this year, bro?
A few weeks ago when the whole Forza Horizon thing came up, I posted a thing on Twitter saying, wouldn't it be cool to drift? And it was a picture of Tokyo. And then about 2 hours later, I saw tweets going, Forza Motorsport 5, eyes emoji. It's an endless cycle, but hey, it's fun. Look, I do think we are getting a Forza this year. I don't know why people think it's Horizon, because we saw at the Xbox event last year that it was Motorsport, or it was called Forza Tech. And to me, it just screamed, "Oh, okay, Forza 8, or it's just going to be called Motorsport."
Yeah, I
Like,
think it's
well,
gonna be it's gonna be a continuous kind of like games as a service type thing,
yeah,
which fits racing perfectly in my opinion.
and the Forza's biggest problem is that over years now, and due to licensing problems, is that they have to pull back a game from the store every 3 years, right? So wouldn't it make sense to make this one game, this one singular game that they go over time, so where they don't have to delist it every 3 years? They may pull some cars off, and then they can get the licenses again, rather than get licenses for an entirely old game while they're working on a new game. So in essence, it makes sense for Forza to be that title. And I don't know why people think it's Horizon. Like we like think about it. When in the past have we ever been told, "Hey, look, new Forza Motorsport. By the way, you're getting a Forza Horizon before this comes out." They've never done that. They've never done that. Like it literally makes no sense. That's like the coalition going, "Hey, look at this, Gears 7, but you're gonna get Gears 6 first," or some variation of that. Like why would they do that? So like they're not going to tell us about Motorsport and then come out with Horizon. That makes no sense.
Well, just like
What?
I mean, and just put it old school, right? Put it old school. We saw the trailer for Perfect Dark, right? We saw the trailer for that. Can you imagine if right after that they were like, but Cameo comes out first? Like you know what I'm saying? Yeah, like I see what you're saying. You don't usually jump a title and then go back to it after showing that future title. I see what you're saying, bro.
It's like, I mean, look, we've seen a trailer for Fable, correct? But they're not going to come out and say, "Hey, you're getting this other game first." It just, I don't get it. I don't get the logic behind it. Again, maybe it's because I'm from the northeast of England where we're all cynical and stuff. But like that's why I try and push positivity, because we need it a lot right now, and it's like I don't really see why people are leaning on Horizon when we've had Motorsport announced.
Yo, brother, I want to hang on that real quick because you're like people leaning on Horizon. Like I have a couple ideas as to why. All right, and I want to hear your thoughts on it. Basically, I have two reasons why. First off, I think that a Horizon in Japan with brand new consoles makes sense, and one of the reasons why is the features with ray tracing and stuff. Think about racing in the middle of Tokyo at night with all those screens up with the neon lights, stuff like that. It would definitely showcase kind of like the ray tracing aspects. And in Japan, you also have the rural areas with the mountains and stuff, a real kind of unique play, downhill drifting on dangerous cliffside mountains and stuff like that. So I think it makes sense in that regard. Now, the reason why people are hanging on it now, and Jamie, I want to hear what you think about this. The reason why people are hanging on it is because Horizon is built for a wider gaming demographic. And when it comes down to it, possibly having a bigger audience because it is more kind of like, it is more acceptable to a wider range of gamers. Because, closed circuit simulation racing isn't for everybody. It's for me. It's definitely for me. But that market isn't as big as open world / semi arcadey. You look at the DLCs, the Hot Wheels DLC for 3. You look at the Legos DLC for 4. You got the arcadey feel, open world racing, stuff like that. I think it caters to a wider range of gamers, man. And maybe that's why you hear it more.
Yeah, I mean, like, bear in mind, dude, I'm from the UK, the racing capital of the world when it comes to racing. Like, a racing game comes out, it doesn't matter if they're racing on a track or on the moon, people will buy it.
Yes.
So, like, for me, I get that, right? Horizon leans more towards what I like. Although, when I play Motorsport, I'm just basically looking at the visuals going, man, look at this. Like, like even Forza Motorsport 7, I'll pop it on and I'm just like, wow. Like,
yeah, it's beautiful.
Like, yeah, or if I've drank a lot, I'll sound like Christopher Walken saying that. But it's like, it's just
wow.
that, I think, wow. It's just like, That's the thing. One day I will do a drunk podcast where the Christopher Walken will come out. But it's like it makes sense for more people to want Horizon because that is the easier game to get into. And the thing is, Tokyo and Japan, like it's one of the last few places I'd say makes sense because in Forza Horizon we had Colorado, in Forza Motorsport 2 we had, I was gonna say Horizon 2 we had was it Florence or Sicily?
It was like France, Italy in that area. I forgot what they call that area.
Tuscany, I think.
Yeah, yeah.
But that European area, and then with 3 we had Australia, and Australia's setting, by the way, was beautiful. And and the funny thing is, I play Forza Motorsport 4, and I'm like, oh yeah, I've went down this road. Like, so it's like it makes sense, And the thing is, where else can they go? They can go to Switzerland, where there's like lots of turns and mountains and stuff. They can go to Brazil, and they can go to Japan. Outside of that, I don't know where else they could go.
There was also, I remember there was a rumor for Forza Horizon 4 at one point in time, which definitely would be interesting to me, would be kind of like the southern coast of the United States, like Florida, Louisiana, that area with like, the Everglades swamps and going into the cities like Orlando, Florida, stuff like that. That would be cool as well. That would be another place for the future, but I think everybody wants to see Japan, dude.
Yeah, you have to look at they have like Mount Fuji and the big long roads next to that. They could do so much with it, and like I'm guessing it would take a long time to make a big city like Tokyo with all the neon lights and stuff. Yeah, it would probably be a lot of work to get a city like that working. But wouldn't it be cool to drift around Tokyo? Because we can break out all the Fast and Furious memes, so that's one opportunity. I would love to see Tokyo. I would love to see Mount Fuji in a game like that. We've seen concept art with Mount Fuji in the background. It just looks so good. I would love to see that. But I just think we're getting Motorsport this year. And the thing is, whenever you get a new console, you get a shiny new racer. And wouldn't it make more sense to have Motorsport, that game that could push that 120 frames per second, 8K if you have one of those displays, well, 4K, it's like, it makes sense for Motorsport to come first. And plus, they're still pushing Horizon 4 with expansions and stuff. Like it just got like the creator mode. So like they're still pushing that while they can before that gets delisted in a year. So yeah, I think Motorsport's coming first.
Dude, and I definitely appreciate you, man, because I feel like I have been on the soapbox talking about Motorsport, and everybody else is like, no Horizon, no Horizon. To me, Motorsport still makes sense. I mean, we're looking at, this year is the 20-year anniversary of Xbox. So what better way to celebrate 20 years than coming out with the brand new Halo, which I feel like the multiplayer is going to define first-person shooter multiplayer moving into the future. I feel like they are going all in when it comes to that. And, of course, I feel like they are gonna have a quality story with Halo Infinite as well. But, talking about the 20-year anniversary, what better way, to come out with a Halo Infinite and come out with a continuous Forza Motorsport that is supported over time. It doesn't have the number on it. It's a brand new kind of like way to look at Forza Motorsport. We all know, when people think Xbox and racing, the first thing that they think of is Forza. When Xbox first came out, it was Sega GT. That was the game when you thought about racing on the OG Xbox. It was Sega GT. And now it's definitely Forza. And Turn 10, I mean, they've earned so much respect within the gaming community, within the racing community as well, that I think it's a no-brainer to come out with a Forza Motorsport for the 20-year anniversary as well. And that's why I'm gonna stick with my guns, Jamie. I'm gonna say it's Motorsport, and I am gonna say it's this year. Some people think I'm crazy on Twitter. I announced it on Twitter that same thing, and people thought I was nuts. And people started talking about Horizon 5 in Japan, and I'm like, yeah, we'll wait and see, man. I think it's a no-brainer. But Jamie, another game that's actually, I believe it's slated to come out this year. And it's a game. It's a sequel to a game that has been on the PC for a while. And I think this news has kind of, slid under the radar a little bit because we, the bunch here, we're a lot of console gamers, man. There are some people that dabble in PC, and there's some people in the chat that definitely play on PC as well. But the game Stalker 2 has recently, one of the developers was on Twitter, and somebody asked if Stalker 2, which is slated to launch on, the Xbox Series S and X and PC this year, somebody asked if it was going to go to other platforms, and basically the developer was like, no, it's Xbox Series X, S, and PC. That's it. And that person politely stated that they are going to sell their other platform now because of that. So obviously that person had, some hand in PC gaming at some point in time. And I think this is a huge thing for Xbox because of this title. Now, Jamie, do you know about Stalker on PC? And what do you think about this announcement that it's basically a PC/Xbox exclusive now? And there are no plans at all for this game to come out on any other platform, bro.
I mean, for people that don't know, Stalker is a first-person, open-world FPS horror with immersive sim elements that scratches all of the PC itches. Yeah, I mean, this is the thing. Like, I've noticed over the past 2 year-ish that there's a lot of PC-centric games coming to Xbox or Xbox first, and like this is just more of that. And the thing is, I think there's just there's more developers just getting more comfortable with Xbox hardware because look at like how much Microsoft leans on developers now and gives them what they want. Like there's probably a lot of these developers because remember a lot of European like game studios are tiny studios in the middle of nowhere, so it's like they probably appreciate all the help they can get. And this is going to be a visually impressive game using the Xbox Series hardware. It's like it makes sense. And this is the thing, a lot of developers can't afford to put all their games on all platforms. So there's also that. And maybe Microsoft just have the best hardware. Well, actually they do. But it's like the developers just want to use the hardware. It's literally that simple, really. Because it's not going to be on Xbox One or Xbox One X or S. It's going to be on Xbox Series X. So they're using that horsepower. Mm-hmm. And, the CPUs and those things are beastly. So yeah, it makes sense. And this is the thing, like I always say on Twitter, like I see an interesting PC game and I say, I hope it comes to Xbox because I'm a console game and there's a lot of us. And the thing is about the PC market is that the PC market's very fickle in Europe. Like a lot of, like I know it's a joke, but whenever you see the Gamescom events, have you ever noticed how there's farming simulator stuff all over the place? Mm-hmm. Because farming simulator, as much as of a meme that might be, it's damn huge in Europe. And all these games are like the immersive sims and like these like simulators are like just really big in Europe. While in the US, you might think, what the hell's that? So it makes sense. And the thing is, again, Microsoft pushing, different kinds of content. Because if I were to say to you right now, name an open world game on Xbox that's an immersive sim horror FPS, you probably couldn't name one because there isn't one.
Dude, I gotta ask you though. Do you know like the history of Stalker 1? I've talked to a couple PC gamers, and like I feel like in the console community, there are people out there that don't necessarily think this is a big deal. It's just another game or whatnot. But from what I'm hearing from the PC side of things, this sequel was a long time coming. It's something that people have wanted for years. It's Stalker 1 has been a game that's been around for absolute years as well. And when I talk to the like PC gamers out there, they're saying this is absolutely huge. Dude, what do you do? You think that console gamers who might not know? Do you think there might be kind of like just kind of missing an important factor here on how big this announcement really was?
Yeah, I mean, you have to think about like this, like how many big games like started their origins on PC? Like, Half-Life, huge game. Half-Life 2, even bigger, came to consoles. So it's like, there's these PC centric games that do come over now and then because they were huge. Like, System Shock, PC game, Bioshock came to console. There's a history of these style of games coming to console, and like again, Stalker was huge in Europe. Like, I don't play PC games anymore. I did in the early 2000s, but that was mainly RTS games, and that's a story for another day. But it's like my friends that played on PC back then were into Stalker. While for me, I was like, what the hell is this? Like, I don't want to play this first person shooter on a PC. Like, that's not me, So like, I think it's one of those games people should keep their eyes on because again, huge in Europe. Like, Stalker was huge here. Again, like I'll name another big PC game. Vampire Masquerade Bloodlines, huge in Europe, and the sequel coming to console. Like, it's just this. Like, I think more developers are opening up their IPs to consoles because a lot of the money is going to come from console now. I'm not saying PC gamers aren't going to buy it. I'm just saying it's going to be on console. Plus, Game Pass as well. Boom. Like, even bigger deal to come, for people going on Xbox because, like, again, I'm saying it slowly. Open world, first person shooter, survival sim, or should I say survival game with, immersive sim elements. And that's coming to Game Pass. People that have never played it before or a game anything like it can jump into Game Pass and experience something new for a change. And you know what? That's what I've been told all year by people. Hey, Jamie, I've never played a tactics game before, but now I'm enjoying Gears Tactics. Hey, Jamie, I've never played this RPG before, but now I'm playing Wasteland. It's just enabling more people to experience stuff that they haven't before with no extra charge.
Yo, I gotta say real quick, shout out to my brother, the Crispy Bomb in the chat. Yo, tonight he is working overtime, earning the check that I never send him, by the way, to be that moderator of the year. Brother, yo, huge shout out to you. And he said, why are we talking other platforms? If you're talking about us and talking about PC, you gotta remember, Xbox is PC, PC is Xbox. There's a loophole there, brother. Crispy, if there is a loophole, I will find it. You know that, man. And I think when it comes down to it, there are so many gamers in the Xbox division that also play games on PC that there's a certain PC knowledge there that Xbox is going to benefit from as well. Looking at a PC classic like Stalker when the sequel was coming out. Another thing, Jamie, that I think is going on when it comes to PC games coming to Xbox is first off, the power narrative. You got the power of these consoles willing, it's making it possible for developers to really put a game on console and show it the way that they want to show it. And x86 architecture, I think, is a big thing because as they're developing for the PC, they can easily kind of like develop the port for the console for the Xbox as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's easy to develop for console like more than ever before because same architecture. When it comes to like being on an Xbox podcast where we can't mention other consoles or platforms. The problem with that is that a conversation about gaming is like a minefield, right? But we've got our, we've got a blindfold on, right? So we have to dodge all these obstacles. But when it comes to PC, we're stepping on a nice safe bridge, and that's the way I see it. PC, we can talk about it because that's just a nice loophole. But like, if you think about like this, we have a history of PC centric games coming to console. Halo Wars, right? Halo Wars is an RTS that came to console. Racing games predominantly used to be big on PC, and then they, became huge on console. It's just it's a big history of PC games coming to console. And the thing is, console games go to PC now. To me, it's not a big deal. Like, again, I would rather eat my left foot than game on a PC right now.
Okay, yo, real quick, shout out to Mock Student. He says, "Yo, Xbox. Earlier, you said that Xbox. Earlier, you said that Xbox does not have a studio in France, but they have Arcane, and they got 2 studios, one in France and second in Austin. Now, brother, they are acquiring them because that's under the ZeniMax deal, right? Arcane.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I hear what you're saying. Technically, they don't have them yet. The deal is not finished, and Phil Spencer is very confident in the whole ZeniMax thing. It's going to get done and stuff. So, I mean, technically, they don't have one yet, and with the ZeniMax deal, people are skeptical as to how many games are going to be exclusive to Xbox and how many games might still go multi-plat. There's still some questions there as well, where if you get a Zobo, I mean, there's pretty much no question as to where those games are going. You know what I'm saying? That's pretty much what I was trying to state there with my very vague, not in France type things. I hear what you're saying, but technically Arcane is not under first party yet. Once it is, yes, they'll and if Xbox gets a Zobo, then yes, there will be 2 in France. But I know Phil Spencer wants to have studios like all over the place. So that that includes Japan as well, which is another interesting kind of like thing to talk about that we don't have on the topics right now. So, but yeah, so I hear what you're saying, but technically not yet, and technically Asobo is just a rumor as well. But I think it's more plausible because Phil wants like studios all around the world, and that's a good thing as well, because you get all sorts of talent. You get like different viewpoints from different studios making different games. I think that is that's a good way to go about things, man. But with that, I forgot which topic we were talking about. Jamie, can you help me out here, bro?
The what do you call it? The Stalker 2 stuff.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think we pretty much we milk Stalker 2 for what it's worth right now. Like I think it's something to definitely, if you've never gamed on PC, even if you've never heard of Stalker, it is a game that is loved by a lot of PC gamers out there. So I think Stalker 2 is definitely a game, to keep your eye on. I believe they came out with new gameplay. I haven't checked it out yet, but I definitely want to. I am interested in this game just for that first initial trailer, kind of like the mysterious things that they showed, the eerie kind of like backdrop, stuff like that. I'm definitely interested in that game. But dude, let's get to some misquoting, Jamie, because Phil Spencer, he comes out and he tries to talk to the community. He does interviews with, different people, and he tries to get information out there. He tries to let people know, the direction that Xbox is going. And it seems that people will go in and they will pick apart everything he says. But his latest interview with Larry Herb, which he has done for 3 years now, it's an end of the year interview where he talks about, the year that just passed when it came to Xbox and kind of like things to look forward to in the year to come and stuff like that. Well, I've seen people on Twitter talk about this whole 3 to 10 years quote. And I watched the interview today in its entirety. And I gotta say, when it comes to Phil Spencer misquotes, what people are saying about his 3 to 10 years takes the friggin' cake for misquotes from Phil Spencer. I cannot believe that people are trying to pass it on that Phil Spencer was talking about games coming out in 3 to 10 years, and that's what he was excited about. Because, Jamie, I'm going to let you know something right now. He wasn't talking about games 3 to 10 years from now. Anybody who has watched that interview knows exactly what he was talking about. He was talking about different features and stuff like that, stuff that they were doing, like in terms of backwards compatibility on the Xbox One. That was actually in development for 5 years. And he was talking about, there are certain things that they put into development that they think might not work at all. And it's kind of like they put it in that 3 to 10 year kind of like window of they're going to try to get something done. They're going to try to get this feature going. And that's where the 3 to 10 years came from. So when it came to, oh, he's excited to see what is going to happen 3 to 10 years from now, he was talking about projects that they don't even know are possible or not, but they want to try to do them and see what could happen, because when it came to backwards compatibility, they had no idea how they were actually going to get it done, but they came together and figured out a way that came out to be absolutely incredible for the Xbox gamer. Now, Jamie, I gotta ask you, brother, dude, do you think, after hearing this, do you think that this is the misquote that takes the cake? Dude, how does somebody take what I just said, which is the fact of the interview, and try to change it to the fact that, oh, they're not coming out with games for like 3 to 10 years, man?
You know, I think if people have followed me on Twitter for a while now, they'll know that I won't hesitate to throw a journalist under the bus for being BSing. So I will throw them all under the bus now, because I've spent the past 2 weeks eating, drinking, playing games, and sleeping, right? So I've missed all this. I saw the 3 to 10 years thing, didn't really think much of it, and then when you were telling us about it, I looked into it, and man, that's some stinky bullshit.
Stinky bullshit, bro.
Like the Rock could smell that shit. It's this is the thing, right? Phil Spencer could just say anything and it'll get misquoted. And this is the thing. You have to think about how do you clickbait that, right? How do you clickbait that into something that, because negativity spawns more views. And the thing is, you know, if he says 3 to 10 years, that automatically makes people think, wait. There's no game coming for 3 years. Is this what you're doing to Xbox, Phil? And I've already seen that bullshit, and it's unfortunate, because if people have really done that and, like, you know, believed the bullshit, I mean, sorry for being stupid. Like, I guess for you, it's stupid.
Yo,
it's stupid, man.
Jamie, real quick, and I'm gonna trust me, I'm gonna let you continue, but I gotta air this out, brother. I got to, because, you know, I'm a part of Mooch's podcast, Crossfire, right? And Mooch had the 3 to 10 years topic on Crossfire. Now, I didn't get a chance to check out that interview yet. So, you know, I was hearing people talking about it, you know, on the show, and not really knowing exactly what Phil said. And, yo, guys, I want to let you guys know, me and Mooch, we are cool. We are friends. Like, this is nothing personal here. But I just want to know, how the hell do you even swing it? If you watch the interview, if you listen to the interview, how can you even go along with saying that, you know, Phil's excited about games that are coming out 3 to 10 years from now? Like, that was a thing that we were talking about on Crossfire, and I had no idea. I didn't watch the interview. I was kind of depending on what other people were saying, and kind of hoping that, you know, they would bring to light exactly what was said, the context, everything like that. And I found out it really wasn't like that. Like, brother, yo, Mooch, man, if you're listening, how did we let this slip when it came to Crossfire, and let that narrative get so twisted when it was so obvious exactly what Phil was talking about? But go ahead, Jay. I had to put it out there, man.
I mean, look, I have no problem with anyone or anything. Like, it's like, as long as, the thing is, I think people need to read before they talk. That's what it boils down to it. Like, I never spoke on the Phil thing because I never paid attention to the interview. I've been busy drinking and listening to synthwave. Like, I've been in no position to talk about the game industry. So, like, the Christmas and New Year's weeks, that's my time off game news. But now I'm back in it now, and I'll throw some people under the bus. People, please stop clickbaiting this crap. I mean, think about what's better, having a legitimate headline after reading or listening to an interview, or coming up with some clickbait after taking GameSpot's headline and running with it without knowing what it means. Like this is what I don't get about gaming. Like if you look at my thumbnails, I could easily get more views if I clickbait more, but I don't, because it's pointless. Like, gamers need to move away from this clickbait and bullshit. They really need to, because, like, look at the past year. Everything Phil says, no matter what it is, people clickbaited. Do you know when he said he was enjoying X game on another platform? people are like, how dare Phil Spencer say he's playing other games in this? This is why Xbox is blah 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 blah. It's like, come on, just stop it. Like, do we really need another year of what we saw last year? Every time Bethesda gets mentioned, it gets asked the same question. It gets turned into more clickbait. Are these games still going on those other platforms? And we're going to see another year of this bullcrap until the deal goes through, and even then, they're still going to mention it. It's like, pay attention to interviews, then post like an appropriate headline. It's not that difficult. It's not difficult. If people posting gaming content should read and listen to interviews before they make content on other people's content, I just don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get this clickbait and hype cycle of hate. Like, not everything has to be spun in a negative connotation. It doesn't. Do we need another year of this? I personally don't want another year of this crap. Like, the thing is, Microsoft, they've came a long way over the past 5 years, right? We got backwards compatibility. We got Game Pass, the easiest way to jump into games, a wide variety of games. They moved away from, I remember earlier in the generation where you had to have Xbox Live Gold for things like watching Netflix and YouTube. That ain't a thing anymore. So when he talks about all that stuff, he's obviously talking about like where's Xbox going to be in 5 years? Is there going to be some other service or some other new feature? Because remember, 5 years ago, we didn't think we were going to get this thing called Beam, which eventually turned into Mixer, which eventually turned into nothing because it got snapped by Thanos.
Yeah, I know,
like,
right?
Yeah, it's like we didn't know that 5 years ago. So where's Xbox going to be in 3 to 10 years when trends can no longer be predicted? That's the way I see it.
Yo, and shout out to Racer Gundam. First off, brother, beginning of the show, I appreciate what you said in the chat about, me being a cool dude and stuff like that. Even though you don't necessarily prefer Xbox, I definitely appreciate that. Appreciate all the support, man. I appreciate all the support from everybody out here. Yo, shout out to Cerebral Paul as well, man. Me and him were playing golf before the show started today. And, tight games, man. And he is an absolute he's a blast to play games with. If you guys don't have him on Xbox Live, you definitely need to add him, man. He is a lot of fun in Xbox Live parties. He joking around, playing around, like competitive as well. Absolute great guy. But again, Racer Gundam, thank you for that. And he said, Phil, I am more excited over the games we didn't show. Spencer, are you guys for real? Now, and I understand where you're coming from with that. Somebody who puts themselves out there in the public so much to speak, especially at a point in time where the company's transitioning, they were acquiring studios, they're trying to get, these games in development, so this way they come out, as soon as they can, as soon as they're ready and stuff. There are going to be points in time where you say something that you wish you did not say, or it came out wrong. But when it came to this statement, about the 3 to 10 years thing, he wasn't even talking about games. Like, to add the games part to that and say, he's excited about games coming out 3 to 10 years and all that good stuff. Dude, it's blatantly being blinded, being blind to what the conversation was about at that time. I was completely astonished when I watched the interview and I heard what they were talking about, how anybody could twist it to the point where he was talking about he's excited about games 3 to 10 years. That's not even what they were talking about. I have no idea how anybody could even try to twist that with any type of stable mentality, man. I was astonished, dude. I was absolutely astonished when I actually listened to the interview and I saw exactly what they were talking about. But again, Jamie, dude, is this ever gonna go away, man? Is this kind of like, is this hate? Is this kind of like reporting? Is this kind of like scrutiny ever gonna go away when these Xbox people come out and they try to talk to the public and they try to be as transparent as they can be when it comes to these things in the future, man?
It's not going to stop. The problem is Microsoft is more transparent than ever before. They're more transparent than any other platform. Like, if you really think about it, Like who else on other platforms at Phil Spencer's level talks on a weekly basis in interviews with GameSpot and all those other places? No one else does, but Phil Spencer does. And this is the thing with them doing this so often, people just reach. Because think about it, we are in the 3rd of September or something, the 3rd of January, and like there's no game news, so people are going to reach to see what Phil Spencer said. Now, I'm not going to say people coming up with articles or videos and stuff is a bad thing. No, I'm just saying that is everything Phil Spencer says article worthy and clickbaitable. Because that's the way it seems.
It's the way it seems, bro.
Because like Phil Spencer could say tomorrow, "Hey, I played the Vive, and yeah, I enjoyed Half-Life Alex. By the way, I'm eating some Cheetos." People would be like, "Phil Spencer only prefers Cheetos, and VR isn't coming to Xbox." That's what would happen. And this is the thing. It's like the problem with Microsoft is, and it's not really Microsoft's problem. It's like the transparent now, and everything gets turned into clickbait. Everything gets turned into an article and a video. Like seriously, Microsoft buys Bethesda. Shouldn't Phil Spencer have only had to say once that these games are coming to Xbox? But he's been asked 56,000 times.
True.
And the thing is, it's going to continue. So when Stalker comes out, for a fact, who knows of the rug? But when Tomb Raider was exclusive to Xbox for a year, do you know what I saw on Twitter constantly? It was, "Hey, Aaron Greenberg, is this lifetime exclusive? Is it exclusive?" Even Jeff Keighley at the time was like, "Is it actually coming to other platforms later on? Do we need to know?" And like, it's just an endless. This is the problem, right? Microsoft's Xbox has been in the gaming news for a decade now. This year. And people still don't like Microsoft being in the game industry because they are, quote unquote, the newbies. And people just can't let go of the fact that, hey, they are in the game industry now. They're here to stay. There's people like me. I used to have other platforms as my preferred platform, but now I prefer Xbox, and I've preferred Xbox since 2001. But there's this weird mentality that a lot of these journalists and bloggers, they don't understand that there is a large fan base on Xbox, and we can see through this crap. They just don't like the fact that Microsoft's here to stay, and we shouldn't have to say that, but we do. Like, how many times does Microsoft go, "Are you still going to invest into gaming after spending $7.5 billion on Bethesda?" Like, we're going to continue to see this bullshit because we have journalists and bloggers that just can't get over it. Like, I've seen plenty of people in the reset era forums say like, "Oh, the still angry Microsoft joined the games industry." It's like, you're angry at something for 20 years? Really?
For 20 years. Yo, for real though.
Because guess what? I had some pretty shitty teachers at school who should have been put in prison, not because of because of anything. No, let me.
Okay.
I realized how that sounds as I was saying it. Basically, there was a teacher at one of the schools I went to, and he used to hit people in the back of the head with a book, right? That was it. But my point is that I don't hate teachers from 20 years ago. Like, although I do hate one of my business teachers from college. She can fuck off.
Oh no.
Anyway, my point is, that people can't be angry at Microsoft for decades over this. Like, think about it like this, right? If Microsoft had a data breach and they were hacked, and then, I don't know, 20 million people's security info was taken, wouldn't that be a justification for people to be angry for a few years? Yeah. But Microsoft having Xbox just exist, well, people are angry for decades. I think people know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. I don't know. It's insane. Like, I've gotten used to, like, when Phil Spencer says something, and checking out Twitter and seeing, like, kind of like people talk about it or whatnot, definitely going back in and checking out the interview and like, he wasn't really saying it about this or that or whatnot. And of course there were some things where I was like, yeah, he definitely could have said that differently, when it came down to it. But this was absolutely blatant, brother. And I I just couldn't believe that like people were running with it in such a way, and like the crowd out there that was watching like the podcast and you know, people out there on social media were just going with it. And I'm like, yo, you guys, did you even check out the interview? Did you even see what they were talking about? Because when you check out the interview, you got to call it out. Anybody who's saying that it's about like, you know, games he's excited about 3 to 10 years, it wasn't even about that, man. Like, not even close. And you kind of got to be like, dude, he wasn't even talking about that. Why are you swinging it that way? But we all know today's day and age what's going on, you know, within console gaming and social media, and there is definitely a group out there that just loves that drama and loves to constantly fight with each other. And it's like, damn, man, yo, guys, calm down for a little bit. Like, yo, I prefer to play on Xbox, but I don't have hate for anything else. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. It's crazy, man, and it's crazy to see people kind of like try to twist words around, you know, from people that are trying to explain themselves, trying to get people excited for the platform, knowing that, you know, when it comes to first party, there's a lull right now that we're getting out of this year. You know what I'm saying? There's a lull that people are talking about. They're getting out of it. You see all the studio acquisitions. There's a lot of things to be excited about when it comes to Xbox, you know, and it's just crazy. I don't know, brother.
You know, the whole perpetuating negativity thing. This goes deep into gaming. Like look at Cyberpunk, right? It came out of the gate with bugs, and people were trashing the game all over the place, making memes and stuff. But now, do you know what I see all over online? People loving the game, people having fun with the game, people posting screenshots and video. Immortals Phoenix Rising, people, it's a Zelda ripoff. Now, what do I see online? People absolutely praising the game, posting videos constantly, me being one of them.
Dude,
And
Immortals,
like,
I cannot get away of that. Get away from that game, Immortals, right now. Like, if I'm in an Xbox Live party, there's friends talking about it. I go on social media, I go on Twitter, there's people talking about it. I check out Facebook in the gaming groups, there's people talking about it. Yo, Immortals is absolutely everywhere right now.
yeah, and the thing is, at first, people were memeing that game, saying it's just a Zelda ripoff, but people can't stop talking about it. The problem, and I'll use Immortals as a reference point. Immortals had nothing negative going against it, other than the fact that people were saying it was a Zelda ripoff. So people were perpetuating this hate, saying it was a Zelda clone, saying it was a ripoff, and then when they played it, they loved it. And that's the main problem with gaming. It's that people jump in with this like hate, and then when they play it, it's like look at Grounded. People hated that game until they played it. Gears Hivebusters, people hated it until they played it. It's just, I've noticed this cycle, like people just need to actually experience something and enjoy it rather than hating on something that they haven't even played or tried. It's like, I know people that don't game on Xbox, but they don't hate the thing because they don't do the social media thing. There's no perpetuating hate in gaming outside of social media and outside of game news. You know what I mean? Like, what gets headlines more? Phil Spencer says these games are coming to Xbox, or Phil Spencer holding back these games from other platforms.
Yeah, dude. It's unfortunate that, you know, that's the way that's the time that we're in. You know, that's the thing that it does get the clicks, man. Like, the drama does. You look at like everything from the big gaming podcast to big gaming news and stuff like that. You know, places where, you know, people can go and argue in the chat and stuff like that. That's where a lot of the people are, which I got to give a huge shout out to everybody in this chat, man. You guys are all true gamers, man. Absolutely love the fact that you guys are here and, you know, listen to us kind of, you know, share our thoughts and opinions. Jamie, real quick before we get out of here, because we only got a couple minutes, man. And, you know, in the title it says Xbox predictions for 2021. I need to get some of your predictions, man. What do you think is going to happen when it comes to the Xbox platform, man? This coming year, we're in January. We're at the beginning of the year. What's going to happen with the Xbox platform according to the Elusive Gamer, bro?
Oof. Well, I do have a video plan for this, but I'll mention some that I wasn't even going to
Yeah,
mention in the
just bring
video.
some of it, man. You got to bring some of it, and then tease the fact that that video is coming out. So this way, people are gonna want to hear the rest of it on your video, bro.
So, game announcements. I think we're going to see a lot. If you look at all the studios Microsoft has right now, and that's even before the whole Bethesda thing, there's obviously a lot of games coming. Because think about it, what games haven't have actual like physical or tangible release windows? We have Halo. That's it. No other Xbox game right now has a release window. So I think we're going to see some games with release windows. We're going to see some new games, and I think it was pretty clear to everyone that not having an E3 without when we had these new consoles come out was weird. Like 2020 was weird not having an E3 when you had a new generation approach, right?
Yeah.
So I think they're gonna maybe announce something that's going to not replace E3 in the sense, oh, we're gonna have more people like live on stage doing stuff. It's like if you follow like a lot of the huge YouTube creators right now, be it like Smosh or anything like that, all YouTube content looks the same. It looks like that old program Hollywood Squares. It's like all people on Zoom, and it's like I think Microsoft are going to come up with like some new event to show off games, because the thing is they can do the live streams like they've done in the past, but there's not a hype cycle around that. But with E3 or something similar to E3 or something as big as like streaming wise numbers, I think they're going to come up with something that's going to replace the E3 slate, because if anything shows like gamers need some sort of gaming event in the summer, be it digital or whatever. We need a gaming event, and I think Microsoft, they have the studios to show games off at a gaming event like this. Think about it like this: Bethesda normally have their own event, so Microsoft have their own event anyway, and now they have Bethesda. That's a lot.
Oh.
That's a lot of games to show off. So I think talking about a new event's going to be a thing. Um, Continuing the games we have now right now with expansions, because nobody saw Gears Hive Busters coming,
No,
but
that
they
came out
said
of
they
nowhere.
yeah, and it's popular. People love it. It received well. Like think about this: the reviews that thing got, where they're saying like, "Oh, it's practically a new next gen game that came a month after launch." Like people love Hive Busters. People to this day still post Hive Busters on Twitter because it's so good. So I think we're going to see more expansions for games, and I think we're going to hear a lot of Obsidian stuff this year, because again they
Hmm.
apparently have 6 games in development. There have been rumors of a Xbox stream and stick style thing. I think that will kick off this year, because
Dude, I,
again,
I think so too. And you know why? Yo, Phil Spencer's interview, he was talking about xCloud being played on more devices. And I understand, if you have an Xbox, you can play on your TV and all that good stuff. But in terms of the streaming service and making it more accessible to more people, that streaming stick that you're talking about, or that kind of like Fire Stick type Xbox or whatnot, dude, that's a really good prediction right there. I think you're on point with that, bro.
mainly because like you just said, like Phil Spencer wants like more like people to jump into gaming, and the thing is, a lot of people will likely end up buying another Xbox for another room at some point. Same with other platforms, but with an Xbox streaming stick, you wouldn't need that.
No.
And the thing is, Microsoft cares about the software purchases, not necessarily the hardware. And the thing is, this could be something else they sell. It's another accessory. Microsoft leaned into controllers, and they have like another Pro controller. I think we're going to see another Pro controller, the version Elite 3. I think it's going to be exactly the same as the controller we have now, just with an extra button for screenshots and maybe something with the thumbsticks. I don't know. I think other than the streaming stick and the controller, I think we will see more hardware, as in like accessories, because
Mm.
Microsoft doesn't have a lot of accessories right now. We have the new Xbox controller, we have the memory stick thing, and that's it. There isn't even a new first party headset, so I think we will see something like that. And yeah, partnerships for games, like we see things like the Medium, the Ascent, Scorn, Stalker, games like that all coming to Game Pass day one. I think we're going to see more of that. And to finish it off, I think we will see 2 new studios announced this year.
Two new studios, man, and that does kind of go right in with rumors and stuff right now, man. Yo, your predictions have been absolutely on point, man. I think 2021 is the year that we see Xbox really kind of, put the pedal to the metal. Like we've seen them gearing up for a couple years now, and even with gearing up, I know people scrutinize certain games that came out, but even like Sea of Thieves and how that game has grown. I'm gonna get some hate for this, man. Jamie, I'm gonna get some hate for this. I should be used to it by now, but I'm gonna get some hate for this. Like, the game Crackdown, right? Crackdown, the multiplayer, the absolute fumble, man. It was like a perfect pass, and the wide receiver, it just went through his hands, butterfingers. The campaign, though, was incredibly fun, man. And I feel like, unfortunately, a lot of people undermined the campaign because of how the multiplayer was set up and what the multiplayer, what we saw in a demonstration of Cloud Destruction, and then what we got in terms of the multiplayer, and then not being able to bring a party into the multiplayer and stuff. I feel like those were the main things that brought that game down. But even with them tooling up, they still came out with games that were enjoyable to me. And now I think they are really going to put the pedal to the metal. They have so many studios. As soon as the ZeniMax acquisition is finalized, you're going to hear a lot more about their plans with Bethesda, id, Arcane, all those studios, and what's kind of like being being developed there. I think that there are games that are further in development than people do realize. When it comes down to it, I think we're going to see more for Hellblade 2. But I think it's gonna be a really exciting year. I already predicted Forza Motorsport coming out in 2021. People thought I was absolutely insane with that. I am sticking by that, guys. I am sticking to my guns on that one, man. And you guys know me. I will ride to the end when it comes to this. Jamie, I will say I have been, and I'm not trying to toot my own horn here, but I've been right more than I've been wrong when it comes to stuff like this. So, guys, be on the lookout for Forza Motorsport. And Jamie, I love the fact that you agree with me on that, man. You are one of the few that are in my corner with a Forza Motorsport coming out this year as well. But a lot of stuff to look forward to. This month alone, going towards the end of the month, The Medium comes out, and it comes out in Game Pass as well. So I am really, really looking forward to downloading that and checking that out, man. I think it's going to be a really good year for gaming in general. A lot of bright spots, a lot of things to look forward to, and I think a lot of information is going to be coming out in terms of games. And once the first party really starts rolling out on Xbox, guys, strap into your seats, man. Buckle your seatbelts, because even Matt Booty was like, 3 to 4 exclusives per year, and you look at all the studios that they are either they have acquired or are acquiring, and that's really it's plausible. It's really something that could actually happen, man. I am really excited. But Jamie, dude, we are winding it down, brother. We are winding it down. It's another episode in the books, and real quick, I wanna give a shout out to the chat. You guys have been absolutely insane. Jesse Walker, dude, you are definitely a part of the Xbox family. You are a part of the family here on this channel, on Xbox Live. It is good to have you back in the community. It is good to see you in the chats, as well as everybody else out here. Racer Gundam, man, I believe Mojo was in here as well. Shout out to him. Everybody who supports this channel, thank you guys so much. Guys, we have to get this channel to 5,000 subscribers, man. I am gonna do my best to get that done. I have fresh content coming. I have brand new shows that think outside of the box. I have the shows that you have come to know and love. Me and Jamie coming together with the Series X podcast. Of course, the next podcast is going into season 4. It is one of the longest running podcasts in this community. Guys, I need your help, though. I need your help. I need you guys to spread the word about this channel about these shows and let people know where they need to be, and they need to be right here with us. But on that note, Jamie, you have a YouTube channel that you are gearing up some major things for, man. I want you to let them know about the Elusive Gamer, what's going on there, brother. I want you to let them know about your social media, because when it comes down to it, man, you are very active out there. I see you responding to people. I see you, having fun, cracking jokes, stuff like that. You are a good person to have on social media. And Jamie, before you go into all that, again, I just want to say thank you for being a part of this show, man. Like, it could not be done without you and your personality, your insight, and your ideas when it comes to the Xbox platform and gaming. Absolutely invaluable when it comes to this show. Thank you so much for agreeing and being a part of this, man. And I'm looking forward to this full year with you, brother.
Yeah, man, it's been awesome doing the show with you. And this is the thing, why I enjoy doing the podcast, is that I notice like a lot, and not all, like I listen to like tons of good podcasts, but it's like a lot of podcasts rely on negativity and console hate when it's not really needed, like clearly. And, this podcast works, and it's good to see that the reception in the chat's, really good. But yeah, we'll continue. We move. There's a lot of good stuff coming this year. And yeah, when it comes to my YouTube channel, it's more Xbox stuff. I literally never mention other platforms unless it comes to like business things or similar games. But it's like it's mainly Xbox, and that's the Elusive Gamer. I have currently around about 40 videos planned, and that's not including news that's coming. So lots of stuff planned. I have some big projects coming this year, some really big projects. And yeah, I'm close to 2,000 subscribers. Like I plan on growing this channel huge. The things I have planned are pretty ambitious, and some people have said I'm crazy, but like I've got things planned. And the Elusive Gamer is Xbox stuff, and if you want more Xbox stuff, it's going to be there starting from this next week. And my Twitter is Jamie Moran UK, where it's just gaming and jokes.
Nice, brother. And shout out to the Xbox community. One of the things that I absolutely love about being an Xbox player is the community. I have made a bunch of new friends on Xbox Live that I game with. Paul out there in the chat is one of them. Mr. Tushy and his whole crew that get together every Saturday night to game. Guys, be on the lookout for K Mega and Sir X-Man. They are doing their fight night tonight as well. They are starting with, I believe it's King of Fighters 15. It is a game with gold, so you can go and download it now. If you're following K Mega and Sir X-Man on Xbox Live, you'll see when they appear online, and you can just jump in. And I will warn you, it gets very competitive. It's very entertaining. I will try to jump in, even though I'm not a big King of Fighters guy. I will definitely jump in and try to throw some fisticuffs around a little bit. Try to surprise some people. Get a couple wins under my belt. Shout out to Pong So, who made his debut on podcasting. I believe it was the Shop Podcast, if I remember correctly. I was in the chat. Yeah, and the reason why I say remember correctly, man, there are so many podcasts. I try to support as many as possible. Go in, say hi, listen to some of the topics that are going on. But I am a father. I work 12-hour shifts at work and stuff like that. But shout out to Pong, man, because what I heard from him, absolutely awesome. As doing gaming news podcast, stuff like that, brother, that was really, really good. Love what I heard from you, brother. But on that note, guys, we gotta end the show, man. I gotta let it go for the night, guys. So I'm gonna end the show the way I do every Sunday when it comes to the Series Xbox, guys. Podcast, guys. Keep it gaming, and as always, keep it Xbox. Have a great night, everybody.